Have you gotten used to the heat? Last time I talked to you, you were saying when you first joined the cast, went down there, the heat, the chiggers, all the bugs, was a bit of an adjustment. How are we now? You
we're good. Actually, the heat's actually really simmered down a lot, so it's that's all. It's all good. It's all good now. Yeah.
It's the fall.
I'm thinking if you come from the British sensibility, though, that might be a bit difficult.
Say what?
If you have a British sensibility, that might be a bit difficult.
Well, that's to the show, really. I think the whole show is about, you don't want to be too comfortable on this show, and the weather really, and the chiggers and everything else just adds to that, really. One thing this show has done for me is meant that I can never watch Mad Men again, because I watch it, I think, walking around air-conditioned studios in a nice suit, jumping into bed, drinking whiskey and smoking. How the hell can you pick up your check at the end of the week?
You haven't earned it.
Yeah, so it's a mad thing to say, but the conditions, although they're brutal, they really add to the story.
It's another character.
It really is,
Since you're both new actors coming into the show as new characters, can you talk about just coming into this world and maybe what your own personal expectations were and how they were adjusted as you actually started working with everybody?
I mean, it was. Of course, I watched the show as I auditioned. I hadn't watched it before I auditioned, but I watched it before I auditioned, right before I auditioned, and I thought it was an amazing piece of work that I wanted to be a part of, which doesn't happen all the time when you're auditioning for television. So it was really like just seeing, and a lot of what I saw that was really intriguing, not just the writing and the power of even the cinematography and all of that. It was just such a beautiful product, but it was also what the actors were bringing and how their level of commitment and all that they just put out there. It was just really, being from theater, I love, seeing something where an actor really gets to do their thing, and TV doesn't always give you that. Sometimes you watch people and it's like, oh my God, like, how are you surviving saying those robotic words every week, But like, this show just showed such, amazing ability for an actor to really live in their craft and enjoy giving all they had to something, and the actors did that so beautifully. So stepping into it, you knew you had to bring that, and you're excited to bring that, and you know that you're stepping into a realm where these guys are very committed to the excellence of the show, and they give everything they've got, and so it's such a beautiful thing to step into because you want to contribute to that and bring what you have to bring to the story with all you've got. So it was actually really thrilling to become a part of this particular episode.
David, how about your experience so far?
Yeah, I came to the show as a fan. I mean, I've known Andrew Lincoln for a long time, so when it was on, and also in the pilot was an actor called Lenny James, who's a great friend of mine, who plays Morgan. So, I sat down to watch the pilot with great interest, and I just loved it. I thought it was, it's big themes, I think the sense of survival, the sense of humanity, the questions it asks of the characters. I thought season 2 really was wonderful in that sense of there's the zombies, you've got that threat, and then there's the other human beings, how that changes you, how do you survive, what does it say about you and yourself and humanity. I thought that speech that Dale made about, where you're going to kill someone just because of what they might do, and that sense of danger around that, and how your moral compass as an individual in this world changes because you're under threat. So those things, and they're very relevant themes, I think they're very sort of immediate, sort of relevant to us right here, right now. So I loved the show, and I was just over the moon to join it. I was nervous before I joined because it's just such a big deal. But like Danai said, when you get to the set, it's such a welcoming, well-run show. It's a very, not just casting the writers, but the whole crew. Just facilitate the show in such a great way.
Now, because you're fairly new to the show, do you ever get used to standing in line on the lunch line with zombies, or just the whole surreal experience?
Well, they shake them up so much, they're never exactly the same. So every day it's like there's another thing to sort of, go, okay, look at that, and eat at the same time. It's always shaking up a little bit.
And Greg Nicotero and his team, they really, they egg each other on in order to do different things and new things. And it's important to say that the guys who play those zombies themselves, they really take it seriously. That's why I think it's wonderful about the show. It's not just like this group of people who all look the same walking towards you. They're all different. They all have this different sense of themselves, and it's like that individuality really makes it even more creepy for me. And I think they do the research and they do all that. They all know their story and things like that. So, and for us, you talk about the heat. we're the actors, but those guys, they've been there since 4 in the morning. They're covered in blood, they're covered in flies. There's no way that you're going to turn around and go, oh, it's a bit hard. They've been lying there or whatever on anthills for hours. So, it's all about, they're amazing, and their commitment is fantastic.
Do you ever sometimes wish that you could be a zombie on set? Do you ever want to slip in and like just
I love being in the shows so much that you know that the minute you're a zombie, you're not in the show.
That trailer.
you never got.
You've got your character's desire to stay alive, and you've got you, David, the actor's desire to stay alive as well. And they're very similar.
Have you guys ever practiced your zombie moves?
I did one time because, as you probably know, Norman Reedus is a huge fan favorite, and he gets tons of gifts. So we get to play with his caravan gift in this trailer. We call it Scott Wilson calls it the shrine. And he gave me a snuggly. What's those things, those
The Snuggies?
Snuggie. He gave me a Snuggie that was a zombie.
A zombie Snuggie?
Yeah, that was I get pulled all the time.
Did you do a zombie walk in it?
So I tried. It was awful.
Could you try to recreate it for us right now?
Absolutely not. You're not going to get me doing a zombie walk for your
Ask a governor question, Dave. Bob Kirkman was saying before, we were talking about how the character might diverge from the comics, and he mentioned that you might have read the first novel as a bit of backstory for the way you're playing the character.
The Rise of the Governor, which is his novel about what happens to the governor before Woodbury starts. It's a brilliant book. It's not a graphic novel, it's a novel, and it's a fantastic book. And I read that, and that is the essence of where I started my character, very much. I think, it's important for me, and for any actor, that when you get to the governor in the graphic novels, he's a fully formed character. I mean, he's right out there. There isn't a lot of legroom of ambiguity with that character. You know who you've got right off the bat. And I think that has a very quick creative ceiling if you're going to play something like that. So in order to give him complexity and understanding, I think I went back to that book. And it's fair to say, I think in the TV series, we start with the governor in a much earlier genesis of his life. And that's what we've been playing. But in order to understand someone, you have to have some level of empathy with them. Not sympathy, but simply empathy. And I think that's how you. That's about what makes you frightened, I think for me it's that psychological torture is always much more frightening to me. There's just a sense of someone playing with me. And when I've read a lot about torture, that sense of, is that thing of the beatings or whatever is one thing. It's when you're left alone and you hear things down the corridor or you're not, people walking past the door. That's what really freaks you out. It's that instability of life and that sense of what's going on. And Eric Lomax died recently, and he was tortured during the Second World War. And I read his book, and it's all about he goes back and meets his torturer years later, and they became great friends because they shared something. There's an intimacy there. But I think the one thing about torture is that sense of when you're alone, because your own imagination can torture you more than anything else sometimes, and I think the governor plays with that as well. So that's the guy I wanted to get.
Wow. So, much lighter question. But as far as the fan culture of Comic-Con, have you had the experience of seeing people dress up as your characters yet, and what was that experience like?
I haven't seen that yet. No. They had a Halloween party at work last year when I wasn't on set, and they took some photographs of one of the other guys dressed up as the governor. And when I looked at him, he looked nothing like me. He looked a bit like Alice Cooper. But so no, I haven't yet seen that. So it'll be interesting for me to, because actually, Danai's character has been on screen, my character hasn't.
Right.
So I think that might be in the future, but I haven't seen it.
Well, I haven't seen any either. I haven't. I saw what I did see, was once again at work. She swears she's going to do it. She already did it. It was a woman in our wardrobe division who's Latina and is created Machone. And, my Latina alter.
I saw one of you here.
Is the one here?
Yeah, and she's got two guys with her that are they've got the chains. That's her zombies.
I wish I'd seen that. I'd love to take a picture of that. That's
She's here.
Well, it's got to be crazy being involved with something where I'm guessing by Halloween we'll be seeing, governors. I'm sure that we'll be seeing each other. Like, I mean, it's crazy to be part of something, right?
Yeah, it is. That's the buzz, though. I mean, I love all that. I mean, there's so many sides to doing this job. There's the day-to-day, getting down there, doing it, telling the story, which is just such a pleasure and privilege to do. And there's this, which is just a buzz. It's great, and so it keeps delivering for me. I do love it. And just walking, I didn't want to go on the floor, but everyone told me I couldn't go. Not because my life would be in danger, but because of the fact that they would never get me back in time to do this. So, but I think next year I'm going to wear a mask. I might wear a Norman Reedus mask.
really
Let me ask you about the sword training. What did it take to get to the stage where you could pull off a character who is skewers two zombies? It was a lot of pain. There was a lot of pain involved. But yeah, it was basically I trained a lot with a gentleman, Adam Hart, when I got there. And initially it was just what it was just intense, consistent work. And this needs to just continually keep happening. It's not something that you just start like, made it there. No. Yeah, and the body is like adjusting in ways painful. Initially it's like the arms, the shoulders, the torso, everything is involved. The hips, the legs, the knee joints, everything. You have to figure out, like, your whole body is just like, what are you doing to me and why? And so it's really like a painful process for a while, and then your body starts to get more and more accustomed to it. Between adjusting for the sword play and the heat, you could do pretty well on a real zombie apocalypse, I'm guessing.
Yeah, hey, I will say, and I'm a girl who I love to get a good workout in, and I love to be physically challenged. But I would say what I have gone through with her this season is really like, okay, I think I can handle most anything right now, because she, it's a lot that she requires, and she's not backing down, so I can't either. She's not slowing down, so I can't either. So yeah, I think I'm ready for just about anything right now.